types of evil exist beyond the walls of Battleworld, and what other types of evil are going to need to be assembled to stop them. Let's find out together, shall we, as we dig on into the pages of Red Skull #1. As the comic opens, we enter a bad guy bar, where Max Dillon, aka Electro, is drinking and telling stories of his many great criminal exploits, and how, man, if a Thor stepped in here right now, I'd give him such a what for, man. Unfortunately for Dillon, it's not a Thor who ends up grabbing him out of the bar. It's a dude with a bunch of guns who shoots all of his drinking buddies. Oh no, these are the types of shots I don't like at the bar. It would seem Electro isn't the only one assembled for this team made up of the very best of the very worst that Battleworld has to offer. There's Magneto, Bucky, and just a lot of other people who seem to have been making things rough for God King Doom, and because of it they've been thrown on this, what is essentially a Thunderbolts team, just, you know, in everything but name. Which is weird because the book is called Red Skull after all, and the reason for that is apparently in Battleworld, the Red Skull has become kind of this symbol of rebellion. Unsurprisingly, Old Red tried to overthrow God King Doom, but was defeated himself and assumedly killed. But now rumors are starting to come around from beyond the shield that he is very much alive. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Crossbones, Red Skull's former #2 man, now in league with the Sheriff of Agamotto and Doom, has assembled this team of malcontents to go behind enemy lines and find proof of the Red Skull's death, or kill him all over again if need be. Granted, a team made up of this many psychos, megalomaniacs, and all-round bad dudes is pretty much doomed from the word go. Almost as soon as they touch down does the team get attacked by a bunch of zombies. Electro himself gets his throat ripped out by, well, another version of Electro. How's that for some poetic irony? The team does the best they can to fight against the hordes of undead until they're saved by the most unlikely of people. Yep, that's right, the Red Skull saves the very team who was trying to kill him. The comic ends with the Skull giving them a very Terminator-esque ultimatum. Come with me if you want to live.
Trapped in the Deadlands, Magneto must join forces with one of the most evil men in Battleworld history. All this and more in the pages of Red Skull #2. Let's hop on in and see what happens next, shall we? As the comic opens, Magneto and the Red Skull are battling a group of zombies that have overtaken and killed the rest of Magneto's team. Wow, all those guys from the last issue are dead. That's absolutely amazing. I love that fake out. You thought it was going to be a team book, but nope. Understandably, Magneto wants absolutely nothing to do with the evil Red Skull, but sadly his options are very, very limited at this time. It also seems this version of Magneto is packing around a ton of survivor's guilt. We get a very short but very eye-opening little flashback wherein we see that his world and his team of X-Men were killed before his very eyes, and he could do nothing to stop it. And you know what, if Magneto's day didn't totally suck nards already with this Holocaust survivor having been saved by an actual honest-to-God evil Nazi, things take an extra turn for the shitty when the two men have to take refuge inside a decommissioned Sentinel head. It's here we find out the Red Skull has actually been making plans for years now to properly assault the shield and get back into Doom Country. That's of course why he's brought Magneto here. He's hoping to use his power over magnetism to bring the very wall down. Granted, he can't do that at the moment because Magneto has a power inhibitor on. Then of course there's the fact that Magneto would rather die than help the Red Skull on his mission. In fact, if he killed him and brought him back to Doom, he would probably be rewarded for his action. Something that the Red Skull actually gives him a chance to do by throwing him an adamantium knife. The two have a very tense and very brutal little showdown. I love this page of the two of them just going at it. Unfortunately for Eric, in his weak and inhibited state, he's really no match for the raw might of the Red Skull, so he kinda has to go along with the program. First things first though, they need to go on a little road trip if they want to get that inhibitor collar off, and their quest takes them to the bugs of Annihilus. It would seem that Red Skull has been playing all the different factions in the Deadlands against one another, claiming that he'll help them overtake the shield, when in reality it's him who wants to do it. In fact, we even get a really amazing line from Schmidt when he says, "I'm the Red Skull and finding cracks in shields is just something I do." Magneto does end up getting his powers back, and for a second there we don't know who exactly he's going to end up backing. Annihilus, Red Skull, or just saying screw it and leave it. But as the comic ends, he fashions himself brand new armor out of Ultron metal and says, "Let's go take that shield." When Magneto and his sworn enemy, the Red Skull, assault the shield, will anyone be left alive? Let's find out together, shall we, as we dig on into the pages of Red Skull number 3, the grand finale to this Secret Wars tie-in. As the comic opens, Magneto, sporting his brand new battle armor, charges the walls of the shield assisted by the insects of the Annihilus Wave. Man, you know, it's getting to say stuff like that that makes my job so very, very worthwhile. Abigail Brand and the rest of the defenders of the shield wall have prepared for such a situation and send out a bunch of Sentinels to go kill Magneto. Sentinels that do not appear in the actual Siege book, even though we see them getting under attack in that book. Makes me wonder when exactly this event and this attack takes place in the overall canon. After having his powers turned back on last issue, Magneto recklessly charges into the fray against the Sentinels. Unfortunately no one told him that these Sentinels aren't made of metal, so the Master of Magnetism is quite useless in this situation and ends up getting blasted into pieces for all of his trouble. It's at this point right here Magneto realizes just how played he's really been. The Red Skull had no intention of destroying the shield wall, quite the opposite. He just wanted the distraction so he could sneak into the other side of the wall himself. Magneto is all fire and brimstone when he eventually catches up with the Skull. He's also sporting a new Krispy Kreme style face look, which honestly makes him look a lot like the Red Skull himself. The Skull berates Magneto for a little bit, talking about how easy it was to manipulating him into doing exactly what he wanted him to do, and saying that the events of today will only further fuel the Red Skull's legend, which will bring more followers to his side and eventually help him overthrow God King Doom another day. Wouldn't you know it, all this speechifying just so happens to attract a bunch of zombies from the Deadlands who do well what zombies do best, turning the Master of Magnetism into a tasty little treat. Hey, at least he'll get to go see his beloved Rogue again, right? That's a plus, I guess. Well, it certainly looks like Red Skull won the day on this one, didn't he? Unfortunately for old Schmidt, he forgot about one very important person. His former number 2 man, Crossbones, who is waiting for him on the other side of the wall. Crossbones says he had planned to just shoot anyone who came out the other side of the shield, because as he puts it, there's only one person who can survive the Deadlands, and that's him as the comic ends. Red Skull number 3 is a satisfying conclusion to this 3-pack of stories. It's not life-changing or anything, but it does a very good job of what it set out to accomplish. The art's nice, especially the bigger group shots of all the big battles that go on. The Red Skull gets some cool monologuing done, and Magneto gets a pretty cool depth. Overall, I'd give this one an 8.
Hey guys, Joel here reminding you that this video was made possible thanks to our many great patrons. If you want to become a patron and get exclusive comic book cast content, then click the Patreon link below and see how you can help us bring you the content you've come to love. Every little bit helps, and thanks for listening.